Karen stole my wheelchair because her son was tired and wanted to sit in it. Here's what happened. Subscribe, I'm the YouTube idiot, and press the bell for notifications. Hey guys, this happened a few days ago, and I'm just now feeling well enough to type it out for everyone. It is not a problem caused by the mother, I'm just sick. I travel a lot and I was surprised that the last few times I didn't meet any entitled people or idiots. In fact, everything went very well. I thought, oh, wow, the curse is lifted. But we wouldn't be here if it had continued like this. A few weeks ago, I injured my ankle doing some filming and was told to wear a walking boot and take it easy while my leg heals. I've been trying because I thought I would be better, but the healing process of this injury is slow. I arrived at the airport and chose to use a wheelchair, given how much my foot was already hurting. I'm limping around in this giant boot, obviously injured, and now in a wheelchair. It's probably best to leave me alone while I go through check-in and security. Everything goes smoothly, and everyone looks at my cat in awe as I take him outside and hold him so security can do their thing. I don't blame them, my first child is an adorable cat, and they are just following protocol in looking for bomb residue. I see a child between 4 and 7 years old. I think I'm terrible at guessing children's ages, poking the child's mother and pointing at me. I don't care, I put my fur baby back in the stroller and hobble over to the wheelchair. I grab my bag and shoes, place the stroller on my lap, and we're ready to head to the gate. I talk to the employee who is helping me, while I notice that the boy and his mother are also heading to the same gate. The employee helping me finally parks me near the gate. After petting my cat a bit, he comes out, but now it's very crowded. I don't think there is an open seat near our gate. If you haven't traveled with a wheelchair before, generally one of two things will happen. Either they will leave you in the wheelchair near the gate, and you can get on the plane with the rest of the passengers when the time comes, or in some cases, they will take you directly to the plane door. This time I was dropped off near the gate. I placed the carrier on the floor next to me and made sure I had all my stuff out of safety. Eventually, I'm just scrolling through my phone, waiting for my flight, when I feel a tap on my shoulder. I remove my headphones, and it is the mother, titled Protector of Rights, the 27,000th of her name, mother of Karen and Herald of Doom, with her son beside her, who seems to be interested in my cat. I don't mind him looking and playing hide and seek. The entitled mom says, "Excuse me, hi, man." "Oh, hi, Karen, how are you?" The mother looks shocked first of all. "I would appreciate it if you would call me ma'am or Miss Karen, and learn some manners, okay? Do you need something, Karen?" "Right," says the mother. Mom sighs, "I asked you once. Anyway, it's not important right now. I need you to get up." I was surprised she dropped the ma'am thing. Maybe she really needs my help with something. I said, "It's okay, I've been rolled into some of your stuff. I can move the chair so you can look if you need to, okay?" Mom says, "No, I don't need you to move the chair. I need you to get out of the chair." May I ask why? The mother is irritated, in addition to the fact that an adult is asking you something, and you must do it. I mean, my son is tired and needs a place to sit. Excuse me, I'm not a child, I'm 25 years old. I don't have to call her a lady or obey what she says just because she's an adult. Of course I don't say that to her, I'm still respectful to myself and laugh nervously. Big mistake on my part. "Ah, I'm sorry, but I think I'll stay in the chair reserved for Mom. Are you laughing at my son's suffering? What kind of person are you? Me, no, I'm sorry, you just took me by surprise. I thought you needed my help with something. Entitled Mom, I need you to get out of there so my baby can sit up. Like I said, I'll stay in my chair. Maybe there are some places between the gates where you and your child can sit and wait. Mother, but he's tired, it's too far to find empty seats. There are only a few in the food court. And I'm hurt too. It would be too far for me to walk to the food court area and come back 15 minutes later. Entitled Mom, we saw you standing at security. You can stay here. She taps the wall next to me for emphasis. You have something to fall back on. So give us the chair. Me, please leave me alone. I'll stay here until it's time to board. Mom, really? Won't you help a child in need? You are insensitive. I'm sure if you asked. Me, I'll put my headphones back in because this conversation is over. I finished. She snorts and takes her son and leaves. Ultimately, not 2 minutes later, as I'm minding my own business and distracted on my phone and ignoring the outside world, I feel a tug on my boot and a huge pain shooting through my foot. What is that? The boy is trying to get on top of me. He used my boot almost like a step and tried to jump into my lap. Of course, the second time I felt him in me, I pushed him away out of instinct. I'm not a toy. I take off my headphones and the child is on the floor crying in full tantrum. Entitled Mother comes running screaming how I could attack her son. The flight attendant also saw the mess and comes to see what's wrong. Before I can say anything, Entitled Mother is sobbing to the flight attendant that I attacked her baby. She wants me kicked off the flight. Flight attendant, oh, honey, are you okay? Talking to her son. Boy, Mommy, she didn't let me sit down. You told me she would let me sit on her lap. Tell her to let me sit down. Mother starts making incoherent crying noises. Entitled Mother, look what you did. Now give us that seat. I'm still in my chair. The boy is on the floor. Entitled Mom is practically trying to force me out of the chair. I am in a lot of pain and now extremely angry because this woman is making a fuss. Flight attendant, ma'am, what exactly are you trying to do here? Mom, I just need this chair. Tell her she can get on the plane again if she gives me that seat. Flight attendant, ma'am, she didn't do anything wrong. Please leave her alone. She is an injured passenger and the seat is for those who need it. Entitled Mother, but now my son needs her. She was rude and attacked my son. If she doesn't give me the seat, I want her removed from the flight right now. Flight attendant, madam, you are disturbing other passengers, which is not allowed. Now, I'm going to give you a chance to calm down. I apologize to this young woman and hope she doesn't want to press charges. The mother, called Mother, criticizes her for being a passenger with a cat, as if this were illegal, insinuating that the animal could cause problems during the flight. I'm exhausted and frustrated by her comments about my cat. I've asked her several times to leave me alone. My cat has a ticket and permission to travel with me, and appears to be much better trained and behaved than your child. The flight attendant intervenes, explaining that I am allowed to travel with my cat as he has a ticket and this is in accordance with the airline's rules. However, she scolds her mother for her inappropriate attitude. The mother, red in the face, pulls her son and moves away a little, looking at me. At this moment, I am tired and attentive to them. She whispers something to her son, and before I know it, he's running toward me at full speed, apparently aiming for my cat carrier. I don't know what he intended to do, but my protective instincts kick in. I stretch out my leg just in time, causing the boy to fall into my boot, preventing him from reaching my cat. The flight attendant, who was already tired of the situation, called security and then came to see me as I was crying along with the child. He runs back to his mother, and the entitled mother is now furious and ready to confront me. The entitled mother accuses, "Why would you hurt my son like that, you witch? Why would you have your son attack me, or my cat? This is the second time he's hurt himself by doing stupid things." The son then tries to explain, "Mommy, you said to sit on Kitty's box and crush him as hard as you can." The entitled mother stops him, "Shut up. That's not what I said." Security arrives, and the flight attendant explains the situation to them, asking them to remove the problem passengers. The entitled mother continues to insist that she is right, but the flight attendant and security make a decision. The flight attendant tells the entitled mother and son, "You will not be allowed on this flight, today, or ever. Please leave calmly with these men, or they will remove you by force." The entitled mother tries to protest some more, but ends up leaving with her son with the help of security, while she curses me and makes nasty comments. Finally, I can fly in peace. I had to go to the doctor the next day, and my ankle definitely didn't hold up well to those blows. I stayed in the trunk longer than expected. The airline contacted me to obtain my statement and offered vouchers as compensation for my problems. They also informed me that the passenger was banned from traveling with the airline in the future. I believe they are satisfied with this resolution. I'm not considering pressing charges. My adorable cat and I are at home, comfortable in bed. I hope this person had to spend a lot of extra money to get their child home on time. Now I wonder if I'm a fool. I'm not going to lie, I felt like this had happened 3 times already and kept going. This mother actually sent her son to attack a person in a wheelchair and their cat. If the poster is telling the story accurately, that's certainly what it seems like. This mother clearly instilled some horrible behavior in her son, and I like seeing the poster call her out on it. However, whether your child is tired or not, you don't bother the person in a wheelchair. There were certainly a ton of other people sitting in regular chairs that she could have asked to sit with, or just let the kids sit on the floor since they're kids and don't mind. What's really sad about this story, more than anything else, is that these people ended up hurting the person in the wheelchair even more. In many cases, this ends with a bad interaction that you think about when you get home, and maybe that bothers you for a few days. However, this incident caused physical pain and extended injury. Surely even a child knows this is wrong. Of course, we've established that this was a nightmare. My aunt also had her Karen moment when she decided to sue the Jellyfish Museum. I felt foolish for asking her to stop acting that way after she wanted to sue the Jellyfish Museum after being stung by a jellyfish. My mother and I were on vacation and visited the Jellyfish Museum, a huge aquarium dedicated to these fascinating organisms. They had several species of jellyfish, all colorful and incredible. Some of the jellyfish tanks, for some reason, didn't have a protective lid, which allowed people to stick their hands in there, although this was a stupid idea for obvious reasons. There was a warning in Ukrainian and English that said not to touch the jellyfish. My aunt decided to ignore the warning and explained that she had touched many jellyfish and that she knew this species was safe as she had seen them on the beach. I told her it wasn't a good idea, but she asked me to be quiet. She stuck her hand in the tank and, to her dismay, it hurt a lot. She started shouting and swearing, while some older Ukrainians laughed at her. An employee approached, barely speaking English, but made it clear that she had been stupid for touching the jellyfish. She asked to speak to the manager and threatened to sue the museum. I was fed up and asked her to stop. My mother said I needed to respect authority, but I argued that my aunt was acting foolishly and that we should leave the employees alone. Finally, we went to a clinic, where my aunt was checked and found to be fine. She was still determined to sue the museum, but I begged her to stop and held her responsible for her actions. Most of my family agrees with me, except my mother, who is on her side. So I feel a little out of place, but no, not all people who act foolishly need to be reprimanded, as some will continue to act inappropriately. This is like a perfect example of social Darwinism. When someone acts in a childish manner and is not given correction, they can end up making serious mistakes like recklessly stepping into traffic. Apparently, the crux of the matter is to be level-headed, but when people behave aggressively, harassing employees and threatening to sue, that's definitely a Karen attitude. She assumed I was an employee and that I was useless due to my disability even though I wasn't working there. At 29 years old and looking a little younger, I encounter random, disrespectful people armed with misconceptions about disability. Anyway, I was alone in a large supermarket, browsing through some jars of condiments, when an older woman approached me. She wore a business suit and seemed to believe that her needs were superior to those of others. She asked me where the bread was, and that took me by surprise, so I needed a moment to think before answering. I was about to say something like, "God, how do you not know where that is? Do you work here?" But then I stopped myself and explained that I didn't work there, but that I thought the bread was in the direction of the bakery. She told me I should take her there, otherwise I would have to call the manager. I insisted that I didn't work at the establishment and that I was just doing my shopping. I suggested she go to the bakery, where she would probably find the bread. I turned to leave, but she blocked my path, eyeing my cane and asking dismissively why someone like me would work there. I corrected her one last time, explaining that she wasn't an employee, just a customer shopping. At that moment, an employee approached and told the woman that I didn't work there, but that he could help her. She left mumbling something about useless millennials. The employee approached me and asked if I was okay. I thanked him for intervening and saving me from this situation. I thought he probably wouldn't get paid enough to deal with this kind of nonsense. Now I wonder if I was the fool in this story. And here we have another person who doesn't understand what it's like to have a disability. In my personal experience, being 32 years old and having had to use a cane for a few months, there have been occasions when I was on a bus and asked someone to give up their seat, and they looked at me suspiciously, perhaps questioning whether I really needed the walking stick or if you just wanted a place to sit. Unfortunately, yes, these people exist, but I can't say I truly understand their mindset. I feel like you have to be in a very low position to fake a disability, but automatically assuming someone is faking it is just as bad. Plus, no matter what the problem is, they're just strangers shopping, just like you. Leaving them alone should be the right thing to do. The overly religious owner seems to have forgotten the true meaning of loving others. I wasn't sure where to include this, but I felt it was important to share. Now that this is all over, I can tell the story. I owned a small bakery that rented space in a mall run entirely by women. The owner of the mall was deeply religious, as were most of the other merchants, as I live in the South, where this is quite common. I, on the other hand, am an atheist, which I kept secret. I kept my atheism discreet and never discussed the matter with her. At first, I had an excellent relationship with everyone at the mall, including my landlady, until, about 10 months into my one-year lease, a woman discovered my atheism and decided to reveal it to the owner. This caused a drastic change in the mall's environment. Suddenly, loud religious music started playing in the common areas of the center, which I could hear even with my windows and doors closed. Additionally, I received a 25% increase in rent even after being told there would be no increase. When I reached the end of the contract and decided to renew it, the owner simply terminated the contract without giving any reason. According to her, the renewal was never agreed upon. Between the rent increase and the lease termination, she apologized to me for treating me badly, saying that Jesus wouldn't want people to be treated that way. She stated that my disclosure as an atheist, when she believed I was a Christian, had confused her and she did not know how to treat me. It all culminated when she changed the locks on my business door 2 weeks before the end of the contract, even though I had paid the rent until the end. I invested thousands of dollars in renovating the space and installing adequate electrical wiring to run my business throughout the year. At the end of my lease, I cleaned the space, removed all my stuff, and left it in better condition than when I rented it. I documented everything with photographs and written records. A person who revealed to me that he was an atheist also had a bakery and promptly took over my space, without making any changes to the decor. I patiently waited 60 days for my $400 security deposit to be returned. Since I have also been a paralegal for 15 years, I took a year off to try and run my own business. On the 61st day, a lawyer from his company wrote a letter demanding that I back down, threatening to call my boss and sue me for defamation over a comment I made on my personal Facebook profile where I suggested that my lease was terminated due to my atheistic faith. I decided to meet the deadline, and after that period, I filed a lawsuit seeking the $1,400 owed to me, plus legal fees. However, they responded by suing me for defamation and a host of other charges, seeking a minimum of $10,000. They claimed that I had caused significant damage to the property and that I had stolen the owner's belongings. Patiently waiting for the case to unfold, months passed without action. After about 5 months, they offered me $400 to settle the case, but I firmly refused. A few more months passed without findings, hearings, or any apparent movement. A year after the lawsuit began, I decided to take the initiative and filed an unproven motion for summary judgment, requesting the dismissal of all of their allegations. However, they did not respond to my motion, and the judge granted my request. I then filed another motion, this time for summary judgment for $5,000 in attorney fees, in addition to $1,400 in statutory damages. I attached a series of evidence including photos, emails, text messages, and other documents that refuted all of their claims regarding deposit withholding. Initially, they offered a settlement of $1,000, but we declined, seeking the full $6,400. However, they did not respond to our second motion for summary judgment. The hearing was scheduled for last Friday, but the Wednesday before that, we received a settlement offer of $4,500. My lawyer counteroffered $5,400, and they accepted. After 18 months of waiting, I finally received a cashier's check for $5,400 today. I know she treated me unfairly, expelling me because of my different religious beliefs than she assumed I had. She unfairly tried to withhold my $400 deposit, but ultimately paid an additional $5,000. A beautiful part of this is that my lawyer didn't have to do much since I had organized all the evidence and he only had to sign and negotiate with the other lawyer on a few occasions. Her lawyer, on the other hand, can't be so worry-free. I am relieved that this case has come to an end, and perhaps, with luck, my landlady will become a fairer landlord in the future. In the end, I can only say that it is unfortunate when someone is offended by someone else's religious choices. After all this, I hope the author of the post can move on and perhaps be successful in his future endeavors. This case is closed, and they don't have to worry about it anymore. And, as always, thank you for watching. See you next time. This was another episode of the HistoReddit channel, where we tell real and absurd stories that happen on Reddit. We hope you enjoyed this story about an entitled mother who wanted to steal an injured passenger's seat and even tried to make her son sit on her lap. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. And if you have a similar story or want to suggest a topic for future videos, leave your comment below. Thanks for watching and see you next time.